I played every Jak and Daxter game in 2026. That's right, over the month of February, about 11 streams, about 70 hours of gameplay, we played through the entire Jak and Daxter franchise. And now we're gonna rank them. I got our tier list on screen of the rankings. There's only gonna be one game in each of those spots. So let's get into it. Let's start talking about Jak and Daxter. Well, we started, of course, with the first Jak and Daxter.
I have asked the plants, but they do not remember. The plants have asked the rocks.
I had never played this series before in my life. Never. I knew nothing about it going into it, and I wanted to play every game, just get a full scope of the franchise. All in all, the first game was pretty damn fun. I really enjoyed it. Classic collectathon, you know, you're getting your orbs, getting your power cells. What I didn't know was the lore of Daxter going into this. How he fell into the pool right at the beginning of the game, and that's what transformed him into the Otzel.
I think we're in trouble!
Wow. I did not know that lore. I thought the little son of a bitch was always an Otzel. No. There are story reasons, and I like story reasons. I like a bit of lore. Not too much in this game, but there are some moments that give you some questions, and they leave you wanting more. By the end of this game, I was asking myself, who are these precursors? Where'd they come from? I need more info. I should say I played all of these games on the PS4 through the PlayStation Plus library service. And I gotta say, at least for this first game, it was kind of rough. PS4 does not handle emulating the PS2 very well. We had some moments of lots of frame drops. My double jump wasn't working correctly in a lot of the places of the game. And people were telling me that shouldn't be the case. So I think the PS4 hardware was just having some trouble on this first one. But other than that, take that aside, I had a great time playing this first entry. It's cool how there's no load screens per se. Everything's kind of open. You can go wherever you want, and you just kind of enter the next world or level. And in the pause menu, you have all the details of all the items you're missing in that area and whatnot. It was very fun to go around to each place and start collecting all your orbs and power cells. There's a few mini games in here which were interesting. I spent a lot of time on that damn fishing mini game at the start of the game. That thing was brutal.
You did it! You caught 200 pounds of fish!
We did it! We got 200 pounds of fish! Woo! That thing kicked my ass, but we did get it. It's a nice package. It's really a window into that era of gaming, and I really enjoyed it. So, for now, I'm going to put it right at the top. All of these are going to shift as we go through, but this is the first one we're doing. So right away, this is a precursor god. Let's throw it up there. Boom! It might move as we go through these, but right now, Jak and Daxter 1, you're sitting at the precursor god. Now, the order I played these games in, I didn't do the release order. I did it in timeline order. Now, it doesn't switch it up much. There's only one game you gotta kind of move. After I finished Jak and Daxter, I played Daxter, the PSP game.
This is his story.
This is his story. Daxter, there it is. Because Daxter takes place between Jak and Daxter and Jak 2. And I didn't really know what I was getting into, you know, okay, we're jumping to the PSP, how's this gonna run, how's this gonna play? Wow. Daxter, I loved Daxter. What a fun little ride that game was. We did the whole game in one, 8-hour stream, I think. So, the story you're picking up 2 years later, after Jak and Daxter. Of course, we've seen Jak and Daxter go through this portal into another realm or another area. We don't know what it is. Well, it turns out they land in this Haven City. We're in this, almost cyberpunk-esque city. And Jak gets captured. He's in prison.
Forget the rat. The Baron wants
The rat.
Don't worry, Jak. I'll save you before you know it.
And what does Daxter do? Well, he becomes an exterminator, apparently.
Would you like a job working for me?
All right. Everything with more than 2 legs start trembling. Because the Daxtinator is in the building.
He has a little exterminator rod. You're going around. You're still collecting. It's still a little collectathon, but a bit more action. You got that new weapon that Daxter has now. And as you go through the game, you kind of unlock abilities with it. You're still getting orbs, but then you're also collecting gems off of enemies. There is some lore in here. We do see some... we see a projection, almost an Emperor Palpatine projection of an evil being.
Fail. This isn't over yet.
If Daxter breaks the eco-user out of prison.
Who drops some hints throughout the game that kind of lead into Jak 2, which I didn't pick up on during my playthrough. But he basically says in this game he's gonna disguise himself as an old man.
I can still meet them both outside.
What?
In disguise.
In disguise?
Yes. An old man would win their confidence.
What? He'll see Jak and Daxter on the outside in the future, and I watched the cutscene, didn't retain it apparently because, well, we'll get to that later. But Daxter as a whole, oh my god, what a fun little gem of a game. I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. And dare I say, hey, dare I be so bold to say, I enjoyed it a bit more in Jak and Daxter, which means Daxter is moving up to the precursor god territory. We're bumping Jak and Daxter down to a pure green eco. I mean, Jak and Daxter 1, solid game. It's just, I don't know, it ran smooth as well on the PS4 hardware, and it looked great. And it looked like really good, really redefined. And it was just fun, a lot of fun. Daxter, can't recommend Daxter enough if you haven't played it. Throughout my playthrough of this series, what I noticed was a lot of people, some have played Daxter, but a lot of people only played Jak 1, 2, and 3. They kind of missed out on some of the other games, but we played all 6. And my god, what a journey it was. On to Jak 2.
Braved vast winds before their roots could give us life.
So Daxter ends. At the end of the game, you get Jak's outfit that Daxter gives him in Jak 2.
I brought you some new threads. Put them on.
Brought you some new threads. We get those threads in Daxter. And of course, Daxter helps break Jak out of prison. So, here we are 2 years later in this new area in Jak 2, Haven. What is this? I'll tell you one thing. This game is hard as shit. This game, what a difficulty spike between Jak and Daxter to Jak 2. First of all, we have a full genre change to almost like a Grand Theft Auto clone, which I didn't see coming. I didn't know. But also the difficulty in this game is wild. I think we played this one over 3 streams. We probably spent the most time out of all the games on this game in particular, just because some of those missions were brutally hard, destroying me. The one that comes to mind in my head is the one where you're in the sewers. Ah, here comes Pretty Boy. Remember that guy, Jinx?
Quiet, here comes Pretty Boy. About time you showed up.
Oh. How many times I heard that line because I had to keep resetting the mission. And you got to avoid lasers. I kept getting killed by the lasers. I randomly died just standing still. I was waiting for the timing for the lasers, and then the game just decided to kill me. What I have to say about the story, though, this game in particular had so much good lore to it. Oh my god, so many great lore drops. There's the part where you're standing outside the hut, and they realize, hold on, this is where we were. This is where we are. We're just in a different time. We time traveled.
Hut.
But what? How? When?
Comes this
Where?
hut.
Why?
We're in the future, Dax. This horrible place is our world.
Oh, I loved it. I love stuff like that because I had no idea. I didn't know we were still in the same place. And then you get all these little hints of, you see Samos, but he doesn't know Jak and Daxter. And it's like, why doesn't he know us? But Kira does.
That voice.
That
That
voice?
is just who
Do you
things
know?
need to know. Let's go, Jack.
Daxter, it is you!
Okay,
It's been a tough ride.
so she knows us. Interesting. And how all that unfolds throughout the game is just beautiful. The big reveal. Well, first of all, as I was saying from Daxter, the guy is going to disguise himself as an old man. Well, you see the old man throughout Jak 2. I wasn't clocking him at all until the moment at the end where he transformed into the big bad. We've met before.
Everything's going exactly as planned.
What is happening? Oh my god, he even said he's gonna disguise himself as an old man. And I didn't clock it until right now. And I was like, he said this back in Daxter. And it immediately registered. That was really fun. And of course, my god, the kid. There's a little kid in this. It reminded me of The Witcher 1. There's a little kid throughout the game, huh? And you're like, what's his deal? And you kind of have some interactions. The dog likes the kid, but also likes Jak. What's that about? In my head, because after we learned we time traveled, I was like, oh, this kid is a descendant of Jak or something. No. The kid is Jak. It is Jak, the same Jak who has to time travel back.
Good. The boy will now play his final part.
Not this time.
Don't you recognize him? The boy is you, Jak. And this place, this is where you began, in the future.
Like, this game was blowing my mind at every turn, I gotta say. As hard as it was, and man, was it brutal. This game is hard as shit. I loved it. In fact, I loved it so much. Probably my favorite so far. That one is jumping right up to Precursor God. We're gonna move Daxter down. We're gonna move Jak and Daxter down to Orange Lightning. Jak 2, what a ride. I cannot recommend it enough. It's gonna beat your ass, but it's so worth it. Especially if you played Jak 1 and Daxter before this. I feel like those were great lead-ins to the story of Jak 2. And of course, at the end of Jak 2, I had myself asking, where do we go from here? Well, we go to Jak 3. And Jak 3, like Jak 2, those two, again, they're in that GTA clone style. The guns are introduced. We didn't have that back in Jak 1 or Daxter. It's not so much a collectathon like those first two games. Jak 2 and 3 are very much almost open world, and you have, you know, your little missions pop up on your radar. You can go to talk to this guy, do a mission for Cruz over there, or, you know, head to the bar, do a few missions, or help these fighters over here. Sig, one of my favorite characters in the franchise, first of all, introduced in Jak 2. I loved Sig. Now you're rolling with the Peacemaker.
We're rolling with the Peacemaker.
Anytime he popped up on screen was a joy. He is just so fun to play with as a you know, companion on your missions. Jak 3, we end up in a desert. The opening is insane. Suddenly we're out in the desert outside of Haven and almost in like a gladiatorial arena. I was like, what is happening here?
I saw a few of the fights earlier. Ooh, not a pretty sight.
Why, you little...
Let the games begin!
It was refreshing. I quite enjoyed it. And for the first chunk of that game, you are out there in the desert. It's like Mad Max. You have vehicles. There's like combat out there in the desert, doing missions with Sig. Going in. There's almost like a flood, Halo flood-like enemy in this. What is this, the Flood? I'm not playing Halo? Very action-packed. And I thought, for a while there, oh, we are not going to see Haven at all. We are just out here in the desert doing Mad Max things, which was cool. It was different. Now, the guns, of course, are back. Very early into Jak 3, you unlock the second tier, because all the guns now have upgrade tiers. I think there's 3 tiers for each gun. And the second tier of the yellow gun, I think it's called the Reflector. Ooh, how much ammo does that use for one shot? The same? Why would we not just use this one forever? That gun is so overpowered. I think I used that throughout the entire game, and that kind of hurts the game a bit. Because while I'm upgrading all these cool weapons throughout the game, why would I use these when the gun I got at the start of the game is so powerful? You know, there's a lot of cool upgrades in this. The Supernova, which is basically a nuke going off. Okay, so what's the third one? What is it? Okay, I didn't use it. I used it once to test it, but that Reflector, I carried me through all the way endgame through the final boss. Bit of a shame. We do end up going back to Haven. There's a lot of good lore in Jak 3 as well. I think Jak 2 was more consistent with it. Basically, Jak 2, you're kind of getting little bits throughout the game that keep you wanting more. Jak 3, I felt like it was a lot of desert. And then we go back to Haven, and we do see some familiar faces back in Haven. But then it's a lot of Haven, ground we've already tread in Jak 2. Then you're back to the desert, then you're going back to Haven. You're kind of flip-flopping back and forth with no real big story, huge lore bombs. Until... and this is what bumped the game up for me. When we got here. Until towards the end, where you see who the precursors are. There's a whole Wizard of Oz reveal moment.
We needed a backup hero. We should have gone with Plan B.
Plan B. Behind the curtain, you know, and the precursors are Otzels.
If you had been a true hero, you would have stopped Errol by now.
What the hell?
Oh my god. If you
God.
knew the precursors were a bunch of little fuzzy rats, would you worship us?
They're the Daxter race, which means Daxter is a precursor. What that? I love that whole sequence. Blew my mind. Crazy. That was so well done. And then of course you get the stuff with Jak and his father. You learn that this, you know, this guy is his father throughout the whole thing. And then he drops the name Mar on Jak. That blew my mind.
Find my son, Mar. You'll know him
Mar.
when you see this, wearing an amulet just like it.
Oh, what the hell? Holy, whoa. Father.
Yes, you are that child.
So there's a lot of really good lore stuff going on towards the end of Jak 3. It's just overall, it was a bit lacking in areas. However, it is more Jak 2 gameplay, but easier. It is Jak 2 if Jak 2 had checkpoints. It's just, it was, with the reflector, they almost went too on the side of easy. A nice in-between, I think, between Jak 2 and Jak 3 is the gold. We haven't got there yet, but I still quite enjoy Jak 3. I'm not going to put it at Precursor God. It's not up there. But I think I do have to put it above Jak 1 and Daxter. I think Jak 3 is some pure green eco, you know? It's a shot of the good stuff. If you're diving into the series, it'd probably be a nice one just, you know, to get your hands in because it's not too difficult. Everything's easy to understand. You won't get the big lore bombs as much if you haven't played the old ones, but I think it's still a fun ride. So yeah, Jak 3, pure green eco, which is dumping Daxter down to orange lightning, which is very fitting. And then Jak 1 sitting at a little dark eco dabbler. Hey, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's it, right? We played the trilogy, Jak 1, 2, and 3. We played Daxter, the little in-between game between 1 and 2. Where do we go next after the huge lore bombs of the precursors of Jak, Mar? Where does this story go? Apparently, this story goes to combat racing.
I say we take the next boat home.
Not a chance. Hang on.
There it is. Combat racing. We're gonna go race for like 8 hours. I can't believe this game had a canon story that happens after Jak 3 and somehow brings crews back. It was wild. I loved it. It was really fun to play Jak X. Very different from all the other games. I mean, it is a complete racing game. When I say racing game, it has a lot of like deathmatch matches where you're not racing, you're just basically shooting all the other drivers and racking up points. You have these open map, like capture the flag-esque missions in there. And then also just deathmatch, where you're going around, you're killing all the other competitors, trying to get the most points. I think the first to 10 points gets gold. It's 4 cups to go through. Each one is increasing in well, I don't know if increasing in difficulty, but they have different classes of vehicles in each cup. So it's class 1 vehicles in the first cup, class 2, class 3, but then the final cup, you can use any vehicle from any class. I think I settled in on one of the class 3 vehicles, kind of got it fully upgraded, and that was what carried me through the end. But the thing that shined for me in this game was the announcer, the guy that was announcing all the races, who has a big reveal at the end as being Mizo.
I'm Mizo!
His dialogue, especially the dialogue between him and Pecker, of course, comes back and he's on the announced team. Those two going back and forth in the cutscenes together, oh, pure comedy gold. It was beautiful.
I've been covering this sport for decades. Do you honestly think you can come onto my show and make me look like a fool? Well, you.
the story, so basically it opens up, Cruz is kind of back in hologram form. Basically we're all in a room watching a hologram of Cruz, and it's like, hey, if you're watching this, that means I've died, but I've invited you all here to race or something. I can't remember. He poisons all of the racers, all the Jak and Daxter team. They all drink from this cup and they all get poisoned. And in order for them to be cured from the poison, they got to go race for 8 hours. They got to win the cup, take down Mizo, and then Cruz will provide the antidote to the poison. That's the story. That's the setup. That's why you're racing for 8 hours. You're trying to, you know, cure the poison that's slowly killing you. It was fun. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, there's not some crazy lore drops going on in here, other than a little reveal at the end. But yeah, the story is nothing on Jak 2 or 3 levels, I would say. Still fun. Still had a great time with it. There's a fun little blooper reel you can unlock in the secrets menu, which I quite enjoyed. I like when games include little stuff like that.
Finally going to see what I've been talking about all along. What makes this the most watched sport in the world?
That is terrifying. Holy. Oh, and of course we have Cruz's daughter in here as well. I didn't trust her from the start, rightfully so, because she ended up knowing what was going on the whole time. And at the end of this game, you figure, oh well, that's where the next entry is gonna go. Once we finish the story of Jak X, and you know there's one more game coming, you figure, oh, she's probably gonna be involved somehow, and we're gonna, you know, go deal with that.
Father like daughter, eh?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Call a meeting. I want every crime boss present. That's right. I'm running this town now. Father was too soft.
Before we get to the next game, let's rank Jak X. You know, I gotta say, I really enjoyed Jak X. However, it is very much a departure. I know Jak 2 and 3 was a departure from 1 and Daxter, but being a complete racing entry, I really enjoyed it. But as the franchise, looking at the other games and how the story wasn't, you know, it didn't quite hold up, I gotta give it an Otzel oopsie. I gotta give it the Otzel oopsie. You know, it gotta sit right in there. It's a great game. I totally recommend checking it out. But stacking it up against the other ones, I can't put it above those 3 and Daxter. So, which brings us to our final entry in the Jak and Daxter series. Jak and Daxter, The Lost Frontier. Now, again, I streamed my entire playthrough of all these games. And throughout all of my streams, I think we did 11 of them, everyone that came in and mentioned The Lost Frontier shitted so hard on that game. Just dogging the game. My God, don't play that game. Why would you play that? Don't do it. It's not worth it. And you know, I'm playing through the franchise. I gotta see what's going on. We gotta see all angles. So of course I'm gonna play The Lost Frontier. Is it as bad as these people have been saying? Or is there a little rose-tinted glasses of the past going on and just not accepting the new Lost Frontier, whatever it is? I don't know. That's why I have to play it. Well, I played the game, and I can confidently tell you it is... yeah, it's pretty bad. It was not... It's different. There are good things in there, I will say that. The Lost Frontier did some things I loved. There's ship combat in there, which felt almost Battlefront-esque. You're taking down these big old enemy spaceships, and there's dogfighting going on. You can upgrade your ships with different weapons and mods and whatnot. All that stuff was really cool. The story in The Lost Frontier, I wouldn't say it affects much in the overall franchise. So it opens up Jak, Daxter, and Kira with a whole new design, by the way, on a ship flying to the Lost Frontier, because Kira's going to learn to be a sage. That's the goal. That's the story setup. We're going to get Kira sage ready.
May be able to help. Besides, I need to learn more about Eco if I'm ever going to become a sage.
And then we get jumped by pirates. Our ship gets jumped by pirates. Kira gets kidnapped, and then we're left to go find her. I expected to see more of the old crew in the more of the old cast in this game, but for the most part, it's just Jak, Daxter, and Kira. You don't see Sig. You don't see, you don't see Dax's girlfriend. So, to say, like, none of them. Like, there's no real connections, it felt, to the old ones, other than having Jak and Daxter and Kira in it. The world was cool to roam around. The controls felt, I gotta say, clunky, because one, they took away the dodge roll. or the little roll you can do. So you can no longer roll jump to propel you forward, which it felt so weird not having that after having it in all the other games. That was a weird one to take out. The guns are back. They're a little different. You don't have the Peacemaker. Instead, you get a green eco gun, which is almost like a grenade launcher. It was okay. I'd rather be rolling with the Peacemaker.
We're rolling with the Peacemaker.
Upgrades are kind of fun. You basically talk to Kira and give her Dark Eco, and she'll trade you upgrades for Dark Eco, because she needs that to be a sage. I don't know. The skill tree was fine. That was fun. Daxter has a bit of a moment in this game where he transforms into what I can only call a rabid Tasmanian devil. Whoa! What is this? Look at him! Oh my god! He becomes a giant, almost like 8-foot monster who, you know, can do all these moves and spins and things. His sections of the game were kind of fun to play with, but I think they could have, if they had a skill tree to unlock more abilities as Dark Daxter, that would have been fun. But it's pretty much each time you enter those sections, it's what you did before, just more of it. I think it's really cool that they took Daxter down that path, but it was, again, clunky controls. The story is fine, you know, it's nowhere near the trilogy, you know, it's nowhere near Jak X. There's a story happening, but there's no huge reveals or no big, oh my god moments like 2 or 3. The comedy in there, pretty lackluster. I don't know. This game, it was, huh? It exists. It happened. And it's wild to me that this is the last entry in the Jak and Daxter franchise. Like, what? This is where we're ending? I gotta put it where it's already sitting, right down there. It's a Cruise Blues. It really is. It's a shame. Lost Frontier, I don't know. I would say it's worth checking out. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to play it, because if you are a Jak and Daxter fan, it's definitely more Jak and Daxter. I mean, they're both in there. And Daxter, anytime Daxter, you know, makes his little quips, or like his comedy is still Daxter, still feels like Daxter, which is nice. It's just, it's not the rest of that list. I mean, it can't be. I can't put it above any other game on there. But I am glad I played it, I gotta say. Well, there it is, our final ranking. Cruise Blues, Jak and Daxter, The Lost Frontier at the bottom. Little Altzel Oopsie and Jak X. Fantastic game, just not what the other ones are. It's just the genre switch up and not as much lore drops. It's a little Altzel Oopsie, but still fantastic. Little Dark Eco Dabbler in the original Jak and Daxter. Now, I think a lot of people are going to look at that and be like, you're crazy. Because what I've noticed playing these games is like, that's people's top game. They don't like the genre switch up to the GTA style. They wanted to go back to that collectathon era, which I totally get. I totally understand. I love collectathons. I just had a great time playing 2 and 3. And I think I'm a big story and lore guy, and I think just the stories and lore in 2 and 3 were a bit more. But hey, they all had to start somewhere, and that was with this first one. So it's a little Dark Eco Dabbler, but still, great game. Loved it. Daxter sitting at orange light date. That is very fitting. Yeah, for a PSP entry, Daxter. Oh my god, what a fun little gem of a game that was. They could have went the whole gun route and everything, but no, to keep him as like a little exterminator and still having a little collectathon and whatnot, that was really fun. Really dug that. Jak 3, pure green eco. Jak 3 is just, it's a breeze to play through. It's fun. The characters are really fun. And the story, again, it won't hit as much if you haven't played the others, but I think it does. It can stand on its own. If you're ever curious about the Jak and Daxter series, I'd say play Jak 3. Start with Jak 3, because if you start with Jak 2, you're not going to get very far. It is going to beat your ass, and you're going to turn that game off, say, I'm never playing that franchise again. So if you're going to dip your toes in, dip into Jak 3, see how it feels, then maybe you want to explore the rest. And then the precursor god of Jak 2, my god, that game, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. That needs to sit as precursor god. Just with the consistent lore drops, gameplay change for me felt fantastic. It ran smooth. I really loved all the weapons and the guns and the upgrades. Oh, what a joy it was to play that as much as it kicked my ass. I don't know what that says, but hey, Jak 2 is our precursor god.
We are unhappy with your performance.
But hey, have you played the entire franchise? Let me know. What's your ranking? Is it different from mine? It probably is. Let me know down in the comments what your ranking is. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. When I'm not doing a franchise playthrough, I'm doing a backlog battle. I have all of my backlog of video games represented in the video game WWE 2K25. I throw my backlog into the wrestling ring, and whoever wins the match, that's the next game I play and stream. I never know what game is coming up next. So if that sounds like a bit of fun to you, please drop a little subscribe if you'd like, and I'll probably see you in the next backlog battle. Thanks for watching.